Good morning. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We are blessed and thrilled that you're here. And for those of you who don't know, Caregiver Crossing is a podcast created just for you, the caregiver. Hi, I'm Tina McIntosh.
Hi, Terry Stacy here.
Always good to have you here, Terry Stacy.
Thank you.
Do you know, I will quiz you. What
Oh,
percentage?
no,
You love
no.
quizzes.
Okay.
You love quizzes.
Okay, go. I'm ready.
What percentage of older adults in the United States do you think suffer from chronic sleep issues? I'll repeat the question. What percentage of older adults in the United States do you think suffer from chronic sleep issues?
98%.
Well, you are wrong. It is 40 to 70, which is too many. I will tell you.
Yeah.
I'm in that category, and I'm not proud. Since sleep is one of the most impactful and healing natural processes we have for our bodies, this statistic, 40 to 70%, represents a troubling and often overlooked aspect of public health. We've talked about the importance of sleep on the show before, but today we're going to focus on how sleep changes as we age.
You've really studied up on this subject.
Well,
and so I'm anxious to hear about how does age affect
do you know why I've
sleep?
studied up on this subject? Because I'm aging and it is affecting my sleep. So we're actually both experts in this, just so you know. But it is truly, I mean, it's a problem. And so I think this one's interesting. Do you think as you age, you need more sleep or less sleep?
You know, I think it depends on the person.
Okay.
But I do believe growing up, I remembered hearing that your ears get bigger and you need less sleep.
Are those things, are they connected? Or is that just the saying, your ears get bigger and you need less sleep? Well, you're right. You do need, they say we need less sleep. And so this is always interesting to me because it tells us that adults between 25 and 44 typically get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. We know that. We hear that and everything. While adults aged 44 and older should get about 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Now, I can tell you, as I've gotten older, I require more sleep, but I think it's because I have some of the other sleep issues that we're going to talk about. And I currently have a younger teenage child in the home, and she sleeps, if I would let her, like 22.5 hours out of the day. But I think she's growing. And I just think it's interesting how much all that ties together. Since we're shrinking, we just need less sleep. I used to be 5'10". I'm not anymore. That's a whole different therapy session.
Maybe that's it.
Let's also talk about the internal clock. So we all have this internal clock. Like when you were younger, Terry, oh, you're a bad person to ask because you probably got up at like 3 o'clock to get into work.
No.
4? Terry.
No. I mean, used to. And that was terrible for my health.
But you used to, right? You could do anything.
When I was younger. And I gained weight. I became irritable. I could do anything and get up and be up and go. And not have to take your time. And, now it's harder to wake up. The clock may go off and I may get up, but it's harder for me to feel like I'm awake. Even though I'm moving, it's harder. And just like everybody else, this shift in time with daylight saving time ending, it truly does mess you up.
Well, and
I
the
think
seasons do a lot to me too.
Maybe
I mean,
the kids too. I don't
depending
know.
on the season, like I always know when fall hits and it starts to be that cozy kind of weather, like I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to snuggle in there and read a book, pretend that I'm watching a show, watch TikTok, the important things in life. And then winter, I think I'd just sleep. I would hibernate if I could in winter. So
me too. Me too.
What we're learning about what happens is our internal clock as we get older, it shifts forward. So here's what I'm going to read to you. The sleep-wake cycle is the circadian rhythm. We hear that, right? Am I saying that right? That's not right.
Right.
Yeah, circadian rhythm that helps regulate how long and how well we sleep. This internal clock, it shifts forward as we get older, causing us to become tired earlier in the evening and to wake up earlier in the morning. It is interesting to me, and this is a little bit different, but every time my husband goes to, he's got 2 cancer doctors, and every time he goes to the one doctor, the kidney cancer doctor, he always says, how many and how long are your naps throughout the day? And it used to be when Jeff was first diagnosed, he would say, I'm not napping. And now, 5-6 years into this leukemia, he is like, I take a nap whenever I can. And it just didn't used to be, but we're getting older. And I think that's just part of it. I mean, how many times did grandpa doze over in his recliner during a family gathering? You'd look over and your grandfather would be like,
no, you're right.
in a chair. So it's just part of it. At least my grandpa with his
It's true.
pipe.
There's a picture. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. It's so
The white
funny.
t-shirt in the
It is.
recliner
It
with the
really.
chihuahua on his lap and a pipe. That was my grandpa Dean. And maybe a Falstaff in his hand.
But oh my gosh, did you say Falstaff?
Yeah, he worked at Falstaff in Fort Wayne. So there was always Falstaff with the
Oh my
pull
gosh,
tabs.
that's awesome.
With the pull
That's
tabs in the
fantastic.
refrigerator.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
next to the
I remember.
next to the turnips. It tells us also that adjusting to a new internal clock can be difficult. You might even fight your body's urge to fall asleep earlier, but trying to fight your biological clock is a losing battle. So instead, you just learn to live with these changes as you get older. Terry.
Yeah. There's been a sleep expert that told me that actually, if you're tired in the morning, my hours truly used to be I'd start on the air at 5 a.m. and I'd get off at 9
Oof.
a.m. So 5 to 9, and then you had the rest of the day. And that I did that for 22 years. And I would nap at about 1 o'clock after I would eat like my second lunch of the day. You'd have a nap. And I had a doctor tell me, don't do this anymore. Stop this. Because now you're not tired naturally when you need to be tired. You need to be you're affecting you're screwing up your body clock basically. And the more
Interesting.
naps I was taking, he said the unhealthier it was. And because it was normally after you'd eat something and then you'd lay down and it was not healthy. And so he said to fight that nap, and then I would naturally fall asleep at the time my body should be falling asleep to get the amount of time I needed to sleep to wake up and be at work at 5 a.m. So I stopped doing the naps in the middle of the day, and my body fell into a better rhythm.
So that was when you were younger, right? I mean, how about now? When do you go to bed now? And when do you get up?
Oh, there you always want to just go backwards. When I was young, that's always what you want to say.
And now that we're older.
now that we're older, and let me tell you, I live in a neighborhood with some older people all around me. And so I see all of our lights going out at about 12:30 and 12:30 p.m. and no a.m.
Okay, that's late.
Because I need less sleep. I'm needing less sleep.
Wow.
I am. I'm needing less sleep. And I'm waking up and I'm getting up, at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. I just need less.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not there yet.
Because I'm 60.
I'm not there yet. Now, I will tell you, because I've had 3 children, I used to be up all night long, or I wasn't getting a deep sleep because I was listening for the kids.
Yeah.
Now that they're older, I can sleep. I mean, I can stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning, but I can also sleep until 9 or 10, like not on a work day, but I can sleep. So how about melatonin? Do you take melatonin?
How about
Do
it?
you take it?
I did for a while. Melatonin, not anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just not. But melatonin is that hormone that helps regulate your sleep cycle, right? And a lot of people are popping melatonin.
I've got some in a drawer in my bathroom, but I've never taken it. I don't know. I put enough stuff in my body that I'm not sure that that's one of the things that I need. But they do say that lower levels of melatonin can make it more difficult to fall and stay asleep. I know Candace, one of our producers, says that she loves melatonin and takes it, I think, every night, and she finds that it really does help her. But I don't know. I don't know. I get weird about putting anything extra in my body. It's got enough bad stuff in there. The amount of daylight we're exposed to also affects our melatonin levels, right? Yeah. Yep. So it does affect us seasonally, I would imagine. So it is an option for people. And I know a lot of people love to take those melatonin pills. For friends of mine that live in different states, they also will use marijuana, when they're states that it's legal. Because none of my friends would ever do anything illegal. I just want to be clear about that. But they,
no,
they like to pop
no.
a gummy before they go to bed and say that does really help them too. Again, not a thing that I'm going to do right now. But it is something for us to pay attention to.
But if it helps people, then it's right.
Listen, it's not mine to
right. Prescription medicines, that's for sure.
Please.
Prescription medications, we know that they certainly disrupt your sleep quality. Yes. So for those of you that are a caregiver and you're taking medicines, or the people that you love that you're caring for taking medications, that can certainly disrupt your sleep quality. And I mean, how many are you taking now? What are you on how many
I've
medications are you
gone down
taking,
a little bit.
Tina?
6, 7,
Quite a few
8.
though,
I'm down
right?
to 8 medications a day. At one
6 or
point during my
7.
height of my cancer and stuff, I was probably up to 14. So I'm down. I'm trying to reduce what I'm on. But some of the common medications that they say can disrupt sleep, and I think you make a good point for caregivers who are listening, not just for yourself, but it's in the fine print. And for the people that you're caring for, they say statins, which are often used to treat high cholesterol, can affect our sleep patterns. There are some that treat high blood pressure. They're the beta blockers, antidepressants, thyroid hormone replacement, and the nicotine patch. I didn't know that either. So interesting. I would talk with a
Mm.
pharmacist if you've got somebody who's having some rough time sleeping. Talk with a pharmacist, talk with your medical professional, and get that figured out. Now, I know that, let's talk about why it's important to manage our sleep. And then, Terry, I think we're going to have to do a part 2 of the show because there's a lot. We also want to talk about some of these common sleep disorders. So, why is it important to manage sleep?
Oh my goodness. You know why? Because
Sleep, drink
managing
water,
your
and work
sleep,
out. That's
I
all I have
mean,
to say.
sleep is everything. Sle- Sleeping is when our body heals. I mean, I like to believe that. And I think I've heard that. And sleeping is when our body heals and rests and
Yes.
repairs. And so sleep is just essential. That good quality sleep, not just sleeping and sleeping lightly, like as a new mom, as you said, a new mom and dad. It's that quality deep sleep. When you're in the REM.
Oh, now you're like a sleep specialist. So it is true, though. If you don't sleep well, it can affect your concentration. You can be irritable. Been there, done that, probably for years. Poor judgment. I'll use that as my excuse for so many things. Slower response time and increased depression and anxiety symptoms. And it does put you a strain on your immune system. And so you're right. It is just our time to replenish and rest. And so we need to do that and do that well. All right, I think we're going to have to cut this one and then come back and do a part 2 next week. You in?
Okay, we'll talk about some of those common sleep disorders. And yeah, I'm in. You're in. I'm in. Everybody listening, y'all in. We'll do this again.
Cool. In the meantime, you got questions about sleep? You want to tell us how you sleep? You want to tell us how to sleep better? You can email me at tina@joyshouse.org. Would love, love, love to hear from you. And Terry, will you thank our sponsor for the week?
Yeah, and also when you email Tina, tell her if you found a great pillow. Because I'm looking for that great pillow. Okay, Caregiver Crossing
Body
supported by
pillow. That's
Cardon.
that's my thing.
Oh yeah, good one. Caregiver Crossing is supported by our friends at Cardon and Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 40 years of senior living experience. Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. We're so glad you joined us today, and hope you'll come back next week, in fact, and be sure to tune in to Caregiver Crossing right here with Tina McIntosh and me, her friend Terry Stacy. Until then, take good care of each other.